Before you is a stone arch, like a doorway to a bigger room behind it. The smell, no, the stench is overwhelming. You can't see much, but you don't need to. There is an arm on the ground right before your feet. Eek! Well, hey all you cool creatures. I'm Cryptid, and today we are playing more Carnival of Shadows. Last time we did Lark's route. This time we are doing the final route, Micah's. So we'll see how that goes, we'll see how it ends. But as per usual, I have some content warnings for you, which include emotional abuse, references to death/murder, mentions of homophobia and transphobia, mentions of blood and vulgar language. So, viewer discretion is advised. And with that out of the way, let's romance our final vampire. Alright, here we are. We're choosing which route to go down, and we are going to choose Micah, which is the leftmost one. Alright. Your piercing scream echoes in your ears in the maze. Your footsteps are frantic, a staccato on the ground. Moth? Watch out! A worried voice cuts through your panic. Before you can open your eyes, a strong hand grabs your shoulder, stopping you. He's still so cute. Opening your eyes, you find yourself looking directly into Micah's worried blue ones. Okay, there's something I want to know about this world. Like, are strange hair colors the norm? Or is that just a vampire thing? Does he have a mole on his shoulder right here? Anyways, you find yourself looking directly into Micah's worried blue ones. Whoa there! Slow down! Where are you going, little one? Where I am going? Taking in your surroundings, you realize that you are already outside. Wait, outside? The big tent is not far away. The cool night air on your face. The cool night air on your face. A shudder rolls down your back. What? You were just in the mirror maze, with those creepy eyes watching you. So how? You're shaking. His hand is still on your shoulder, and its warmth may be the only thing grounding you right now. Your pulse is still racing, the adrenaline high. Nothing makes sense at this point. Sorry, I really don't know what just happened. I was in the mirror maze and there was no way out, and Micah retracts his hand, and you kind of wish he didn't. But the maze of mirrors is down there, behind the main tent. That's not where you came from. Although you did come running through and then just stand here next to the hot dog stand and start to scream like your life depended on it. No judgment. Oh my god, that's hilarious. So I don't think that this one that this answer particularly matters. So I'm gonna go with ha fucking ha. I mean, I get like this too sometimes, you know? You sigh. Now Micah thinks you're an oddball. Could be worse though. But you have a feeling that there is something more to it. How could you have made it halfway across the carnival? Were you running that fast without seeing where you were going? Moth, you're really pale. Come on, we'll warm you up. Still deep in thought, you trail behind Micah through the carnival streets. Both of you arrive at a side entrance to the main tent. Micah ushers you in and you enter a kind of dressing room. Come on in and take a seat. Anywhere, really. Sorry it's so messy, but you know how it is with busy working people. You look around for a seat and find a sofa with lots of costumes and clothing on it. Pushing some aside, you sit down. Now you realize how much you've been shaking. Your legs are happy to rest. With all of these personal things squeezed into every corner, it seems like you're intruding into their private lives. Is this where you live? Oh, no. It's where Isadora, Lark, and Aurel changed their costumes for the shows. I help out sometimes as an extra. I think I have a costume. Somewhere. But it's warm here. You need to rest a bit. Let me find you something to drink. Filing through different items from a locker with his name on it, Micah takes out several red bottles, but puts them back quickly. Maybe they were already empty? No, we just wouldn't want to drink out of them. He looks around the makeup table as the door opens and Aurel steps in. Raising an eyebrow, he looks at you. What's this? Micah, how come Moth is still here at this hour? The carnival's closed. Well, at this hour? How late is it? Wait, where's Andy? Anxiety flares in your gut, and you rush out of the room. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Frantically looking around, you can't see Andy anywhere. You reach the main gate. Actually, you don't see anyone anywhere. Not a single soul in sight. Right. Aurel said the carnival's closed. The looming gate in front of you is closed too. I shouldn't be here anymore. Moth! Stepping towards the gate to see if you can open it, you stop. Involuntarily. Your feet are rooted to the ground by an invisible force. What? You take a step back. Your feet are working. You step forward. and can't take another step further. Micah watches your desperate attempt to go past the invisible barrier and nods. So you're bound now too, huh? His tone is worried, and his eyes search for something or someone. I don't know what happened, but you're gonna stay here, little one, with us. What? Are you for real? Is this for real? Relax. Isadora will explain it to you. I can't stay here, Micah. I have to go home. Panic claws at your throat, and this is just too much to process. At ease. You whip around to the newcomer. No need to panic now. She smiles at you, and her soothing voice is somehow calming you down way more than expected. It feels like a cold blanket settling on your panic, smothering it. Good. Deep breaths. In and out. Good. Very good. One more time. Her eyes are staring at you intently, like a teacher waiting for you to do as you are told, unblinking. You take a few more deep breaths. It's getting colder. Isadora. Her gaze doesn't waver. She's still focused on you, tilting her head, not giving Micah any kind of attention. Micah doesn't say anything until she deliberately turns around to face him. The icy feeling lets up and leaves goosebumps in its wake. Yes. They're stuck here. Just like us. Is that so? Poor thing. Your pulse is steadying and you take a step back from the invisible glue trap. Like you? Sadly, yes. When all the lights and glamour fade, we're still stuck at this carnival. It's not just our home in a familial sense. We are not able to leave. This should be way more alarming in a rational sense than it feels right now. You're still oddly calm. Micah, too. I will consult with Aurel about this matter. She steps up to Micah, gently cupping his face. You will take care of them, all right? Sure. Oh, his eyes are blank. Good. I'll call for you when you're needed. Without a word, she leaves with unhurried steps. What was that about? You're stuck here too? But what about your family? What about Andy? Your friends? An unsettling feeling blooms in your chest. Micah? You turn towards your only apparent ally in this mess, but he's staring into the distance, eerily still. It's an odd look on him. Every time you've seen him so far, he's been thrumming with energy. It's 'cause Isadora touched him, I bet you anything. Hey, are you all right? I'm fine. Yeah. He frowns, his eyes still distant. It seems like he has a headache, like he's trying to get himself together. Shaking his head like a big dog, he snaps out of his reverie. Man, it's cold. Moth, let's go over there. The arcade is warmer and has food. You let him guide you along to the arcade, where you and Andy first met Micah. The stupid bet with Andy, Micah's secret smile when he rigged the claw machine. Everything seems so far away now, like a distant memory, although it's barely nighttime. How did you get lost in the first place? Micah hops over the counter where, when you'd seen it that day, an employee had been redeeming hard-earned tickets from the machines. He skips all of the prizes and goes right for the popcorn machine. I can't really remember. Andy and I wanted to try the mirror maze and suddenly there was no exit anywhere. So you got lost. Good thing that I found you then, I know this place like the back of my hand. Seen every nook and cranny. Probably fixed all of the nooks too. He fills up a small bag with popcorn and hands it to you before getting himself something to drink from a small fridge. It's a red bottle and looks like one of those syrupy drinks you're not too keen about. Way too much artificial flavor. He doesn't offer you a bottle. Micah pops the lid and sits on the counter. I'm just gonna go with, thanks, Micah. You hope to express your gratitude with a genuine smile. No problem, really. The buttery popcorn crunching between your teeth melts your anxiety somewhat. It might be the best popcorn you have ever eaten. Come, sit with me. He pats next to him on the counter. His feet are dangling in the air, dipping restlessly, while he's nursing his drink. You hop on and munch another handful of popcorn. Everything around you is so silent, even though the lights of the arcade are still on, and the electronics are running. There's not a soul in sight. So, I guess I have to be here forever, then? Seems difficult to believe. Forever? That's a really long time. Come on, you know what I mean. How long have you been here, working or living or whatever? Micah tilts his head downwards and seems lost in thought for a moment. A few years, I guess. since my teenage years. Oh God, please don't tell me this carnival is condoning child labor. Micah is surprised for a second before starting to laugh loudly. In the neon light, his smile is radiant, almost sharp. No, it must have been a trick of the light. Micah couldn't have teeth that sharp. Maybe they're fake. Part of the carnival mystique. I've been working for a long time here, yes, but I've never seen children working here. He scoots a bit closer, tilting his head. Although he's so close to you, directly in your personal space, you feel no body heat coming from him. The neon light above flickers and casts a dangerous shadow on Micah's wide grin. But back in my day, nobody was batting an eye at that. Wanna take a guess when that was? I might have a hunch. Oh, really now? Taking a big sip of his drink, he theatrically sighs afterwards, like he's a thirsty man in the desert, finally getting relief. That's the stuff. You know, this drink is for employees only. You can see a drop of it on his lower lip. It's familiar. It's not syrup. His sharp teeth gleam in the neon lights. And no, those are definitely not fake. His eyes are fixed on you, predatory, waiting playfully for you to make the next move. Your pulse quickens and your stomach squirms. The teeth, the syrupy drink that is very possibly blood. He knows the carnival like the back of his hand after all these years. No body heat. It takes a bit of courage and a whole lot of daredevilry to say the next words out loud. Are you a vampire? Silence. Micah doesn't say anything, but his amused smile quivers. Before you can feel silly about saying something like this, he claps his hands. Ding, ding, ding! The contestant gets 1,000 points. Wait a second! Just how old are you? Kicking his feet in the air, Micah just smiles wistfully. Around 200 years. I've been living my whole life here as a vampire, with Isadora and the others. That is something you have to process for a moment. So, Isadora and Aurel and Lark are vampires too? Yup, we're like a family or something. Yeah, more something than family. But then again, what do I know about family? My biological family abandoned me because of who I am, so I came here and stayed. Another sip from his drink. Another popcorn kernel between your teeth. You let that sink in, your thoughts swirling. So yet again, I think this is one that doesn't necessarily matter. Cool. I know, right? Not what I meant, but yeah. Without further ado, Micah snags a popcorn from your half-empty bag. But I get it. It also took me quite a while to get used to all of this. You mean drinking blood? And living under Isadora's protection, outliving co-workers, and such. Living at a place that sells happiness and a fun, fleeting time while we are stuck here forever, making the most of it. But he takes a deep breath and seems to be talking to himself. It's the best alternative. A thoughtful silence settles comfortably around you. Stuck here forever, huh? Maybe that's the fate you're sharing now, too. Your stomach grows heavy at the thought of never seeing your friends, your family, ever again. You didn't even say goodbye to them properly. The rushed, "I'll be home late," you told your mom doesn't count. So, how do you live here? Pass the time? Besides fixing the arcade machines, that's just your job. Dragging himself out of his own reverie, he looks at you. But my job is my hobby. Huh? Really? A sheepish look crosses over his face. I've always liked to work on machines, fix them, improve them. I don't have formal training, but it's fun. Relaxing, even. You are a rare breed of making their hobby their livelihood. I tip my hat. You tip your imaginary hat and smile. Thank you, my liege. He bows his head and plays along. Don't you have a hobby? Something that really drives you? Not really. Don't misunderstand, I really enjoy many things, but probably not as focused and intensely as you do. So, yeah, I might be a bit envious. Don't be. It can also be very frustrating at times. I have this project. Quite literally a pet project. Okay, this one matters, so we're gonna go with okay. Okay. Which is a very not interested answer, so I understand why this would not give relationship points. Micah scratches his cheek. It may seem childish. Come on, just tell me about it. Okay. I'm working on an autonomous pet. A dog, to be precise. Actually, that's really cool because he's basically immortal. That would be a great way to have a pet that doesn't die really soon. compared to him. His hands are moving, almost talking along. It's been a work in progress for many years by now. Faraday's prototype is built with spare parts and scrap, but she's beautiful. The tricky part is to make her move on her own. I got my hands on portable batteries, but don't you have a computer? A what now? Computer, maybe a small one you can build into your dog? I have no idea what you are talking about. Stunned, you remember that Micah's a very old vampire who probably hasn't interacted with the outside world since the Dark Ages or so. Well, I don't feel like it's been that long, but quite a while. Oh, okay, so a computer is an electronic device with a screen. You mean a TV? I know those. It looks like one, but you can put data on it. Program it to work just the way you want it to. Like a smart TV that can do math or whatever you want it to do? It's hard explaining it, since you aren't a specialist yourself and never looked too deeply into it. It never interested you to build your own computer or learn programming. That sounds too fantastic to be true. I know, right? I'll show you one next time Next time. Ha! You realize there might not be a next time. Because you're still stuck. If we can leave this place. If you can leave this place. Big if. Thanks for the offer, but I don't want to go outside. What? Why? Micah fiddles with one of his necklaces, deep in thought. So I think saying, "Are you okay?" like not waiting for him is the wrong choice, so are you okay? Micah takes a deep breath, and it seems like he's struggling to tell you something. Yeah, I guess. It's just... He licks his teeth, and you realize he's anxious about something. This is my home now. And after so many years, living with the others, living the carnival life, I don't know if I can face the outside world. He turns to you, his eyes unsure. Does that make sense? It feels like I won't belong with your kind. My kind? You mean humans? Yeah, humans who have built a modern, fast-paced world. I hear about it from suppliers and co-workers who come and go. A fast-paced world, huh? As someone who was born into it and picked up the internet and everything else with a toddler's unstoppable curiosity, you never thought about it that way. Well, that's one way to describe it. You're not wrong. This world has evolved rapidly in the technological department. I'm no expert, but I think I know where you're coming from. If you don't keep up, you'll be lost, like some old people who can't handle any electronic devices. But it has its upsides too. I think there's a way to fulfill your dream of building Faraday to be walking and acting on her own. Your little speech apparently strikes a chord in Micah. You think? That would be amazing. Why Faraday anyway? A big, happy smile stretches across Micah's face. It irons out the thinking lines between his brows. Faraday invented the first electric motor with electromagnetic fields. Not the kind we know today, but he worked it out with research by Oersted and Ampere, and he was a self-taught scientist, just like me. Faraday had this idea that electricity might not be a material, fluid like water that goes through a pipe or something. He thought it might be a force or vibration. Oh, sorry, I know this must be boring you. Catching himself mid-rant, Micah's shoulders sag. No, talk nerdy to me, please. Haha, you're a geek. Oh, fine. This one has no bearing on the ending, but... yeah, a massive one. Maybe I should get some thick glasses. But really, all I do is fix some machines and light bulbs around here. And you casually build a robot dog. Who knows what else you can build? The sky's the limit. Maybe you want to casually build a self-driving car. We don't have those yet. At least not safe ones. Your joined laughter echoes through the arcade. Your pinky touches Micah's gloved hand by accident, and you can feel him shaking from laughter. Putting your hand into the popcorn bag, you notice it's empty. Before you can mourn the last piece of perfect popcorn, a hurried movement catches your attention. Is that a bat? A small creature the size of your hand darts directly for Micah. Oh, it's a summoner. I gotta go. He jumps up from the counter in a swift motion, but before following the little bat, he stops and turns to you. You wanna come with? It's either a fixing job or Isadora has some update on your situation. Wish those little guys could talk. Or are they girls? Bats are not my specialty. He nods at you to come along. And sure, why not? It's not like you got something better to do or somewhere to be. Maybe you will gain more insight into your situation, being stuck here. A flicker of hope rises in your chest as you run after Micah. The carnival is still silent and still, frozen in time. Will you be frozen in time as well? Though time will move on for you, since you're human. Micah, as you walk side by side, Guided through the paths of the carnival by the summoner bat, Micah turns to you. Looking at you, an eyebrow raised. Micah really looks normal. Not like a vampire at all. With his outfit and undercut, he'd look like any other human out there. But he's way older than he looks. He really seems frozen in time. I was thinking, if I'm really going to be stuck here, will I become a vampire? Become? Oh, you mean being bitten? Otherwise, I'll die way before you guys. A human life expectancy is around 80 years old, so in vampire time, it's probably something akin to a month. Maybe I'll die next month. Micah thinks for a second about what you just said and laughs quietly. For some vampires, 80 years might seem like a month or so, I guess. Can't say so for myself, though. But as far as you being turned into a vampire in the future, he seems to contemplate the thought as he takes a turn. The main tent is coming into view. Maybe Isadora really summoned you? Well, he parts the flap of the tent entrance to the side, stepping aside to leave an opening for you. The warm light is spilling out into the dark and onto your feet, inviting you in. We'll find out. You step inside the warm tent and are blinded by the lights. Adjusting, you realize you came through a side entrance this time. Earlier, which feels like forever ago, you came through the main entrance. Isadora and Lark swing on a trapeze, concentration lining their faces. They flip easily back and forth, and then back again. Isadora leaps and catches Lark's outstretched hand in the last possible second. They move with the momentum until Isadora is thrusted up, twirls, and catches her own bar again, swinging effortlessly. Aurel is standing below, reading something in the first row. Micah announces himself with a big wave and a cheer. I'm here. What you need fixing? Aurel carefully puts a bookmark into the pages he's currently in and turns towards you. Oh, it's you. Thanks for coming over so quickly, Micah. And hello, Moth, as well. I heard of your situation. Gentlemanly as ever, Aurel's perfect posture is highlighted standing next to Micah, whose pose is relaxed, but ready to spring into action. Yeah, we wanted to ask about that. But before that, is something broken? Yes, the spotlight over there flickered out about half an hour ago. It's driving me mad. Maybe it's just the bulb. I'll take a look at it. Actually, I find it quite interesting that in every route we seem to have a chance to speak with Aurel, conjuring a screwdriver from God knows where. Micah skips off, leaving you with Aurel, who has an indiscernible look. So, you heard from Isadora about me being stuck here? Yes, she mentioned it. It's curious. You, in particular, have nothing to do with Festa Mastrosum, nor with any of us. As far as I know, at the least. That doesn't sound really reassuring. I mean, all I did was have a good time and then get lost in the mirror maze. Maybe it has something to do with those eyes I saw? That seems to garner his full attention. Eyes, you say? You try to remember what happened when you realized you were stuck in the maze, but all you remember is the rising panic and those piercing eyes that made you scream. They were gazing into my soul. I don't know. They just seemed to devour me. But only for a split second? Sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Aurel seems to ponder this, watching Micah in the distance. And you say Micah got you out of there? Were they his eyes you saw? He doesn't even seem to be all that convinced by what he's saying. I'm not sure. I'm also not sure how I got out because I was running and then Micah stopped me. I was halfway across the carnival by then. That is certainly odd. I'll talk to Isadora about this as soon as possible. Just in time, Micah comes back, a satisfied smile on his face. It was just the bulb. No biggie. Good thing we have a stockpile of those. So, Moth. His leering face is exaggerated by his wagging eyebrows. Did you ask Aurel about being turned into a vampire? Since he turned me, maybe you have a shot too. You know he's ribbing, but... Oh my gosh. I don't know what to choose. I don't think that these have anything to do with the ending either. Alright, I think this time around I'm gonna say no, I didn't mean it like that. But next time I'm going to be super enthusiastic and say the other one. Oh, come on, don't be shy. Micah, please, being turned into a vampire isn't something to be taken lightly. It's not something you can undo. It's your life. Yeah. Okay, maybe we should drop this for now. Look, Isadora and Lark are done with the routine training. Still flustered from the conversation, you look over to Isadora and Lark approaching. They are walking close to each other, with Isadora having Lark's hand in a tight vice grip, pulling him after her. Lark's gaze is passive, not meeting yours, and is just trailing after her as if he has no choice. Poor Lark. When Isadora notices you, her face brightens up. Why is she so happy to see you? She lets go of Lark's hand and skips over. Oh, hello, Moth. Did you accustom yourself to your new surroundings? She cards a hand through one of her voluminous ponytails. Yes, Micah's shown me around and explained to me what's going on. Is that so? Switching her focus over to Micah, she eyes him like a hawk. Her smile gone. She's really good at switching moods. It's spooky. He's not fazed by her, but he doesn't speak up. In fact, all three of them become as motionless as possible, as if they're afraid of triggering a bomb. How much did he tell you? Her smile is directed at you again. I don't know. I mean, seeing as some of these don't have to do with the primary good ending, oh, this and that. And what exactly does this and that entail? Well, she doesn't take your humming and hawing well. Her smile gains an edge. Let me guess. You already know what we are. You feel like you ratted Micah out. Like you told her something that you shouldn't have. She hums in thought and nods. It's not something we broadcast, but it's a shared fate, I'd say. Are you afraid, Moth, of us? Looking over to your right, where Auril is looking deep in thought, and Micah next to him, smiling, and Lark next to Isadora, glaring at you. You can't help but feel that these different personalities are being held together by something deeper, something you cannot grasp yet. They certainly seem familiar with each other, but not loving. Like co-workers. Micah said that they are something, not family. No, I don't think so. I'm feeling sad for you all being trapped here for such a long time. It certainly causes a stunned reaction until Isadora laughs. How sweet. You're pretty empathetic, aren't you? That's very nice of you to say. Her warm smile makes you smile in return. Considering you are also trapped here now, I do hope that you don't lose that shiny optimism just yet. That's what I summoned Aurel for, but we haven't had the chance to look into the matter. Isadora, do you think this has anything to do with the pact? It's possible, but it could also be unrelated. Maybe their problem is only temporary. Yeah, our problem is you, because I am super certain you're somehow the one who got us stuck here. About that. If I really have to stay here forever, will you make me into a vampire? Oh, he's mad. Before Isadora can answer, Lark steps up, his gaze stormy. No. Don't even think about that. His tone leaves no room for argument, but Micah doesn't seem to catch it, or simply ignores it when he stands in front of you protectively. You know, I am very much enjoying seeing each route from like a different perspective. Like, okay, from Aurel's route, everyone's kind of weird and cold, and you very much get a sense you shouldn't trust Isadora, but not as much as on Lark's route, where she's just mean, and Aurel is very happy that you're befriending Lark. But on Micah's route, almost everyone kind of seems distant. Oh no, it's weird. They seem distant, but not in the same way as Aurel's route. And I appreciate that. Why not? If they want to become a vampire, that's their choice. You know what it means to be a vampire, Micah. The burden that comes with it. The boys are fighting. Is it a burden for you, Lark? It's a sacrifice. You know how much we've suffered. Speak for yourself. You think being a vampire is only suffering? Well, he probably wouldn't if he wasn't being emotionally manipulated and abused by Isadora. But, unfortunately, he's not allowed to pursue his hobbies, and he's being forced to kind of, show affection to someone that he probably doesn't feel that much for all eternity, as far as he knows. Because I definitely don't think so. You know how this is the only way I can truly be myself, and I never regretted a single moment being who I am. Your experience is not universal, Micah. Stop being so self-centered. Self-centered? That's rich coming from you, Mr. Brooding over everything. Stop it, you two. Now. Her tone cuts the tension like a knife through butter. Both squabblers back off immediately, taking a step back. Lark, you know that I do not condone this type of behavior. And Micah, I understand that this topic is important to you, but Moth can still decide for themselves. Micah mumbles, pouting like a scolded child. It's kinda cute. Sorry. Like a switch, her stern face slips into an amused one. She claps her hands, and you try to keep up with the mood swing. Good. Now, Micah, you fixed the spotlight, I see. Yes, I did. Very good. Well done, Micah. She cradles his cheek in her palm, stroking her thumb over his skin. It's so intimate and off-putting, you feel the need to look away. You're always so reliable and efficient. What would I do without you? When you look over to Micah again, Isadora has taken her place at Lark's side again. Micah's gaze is distant. Now then, it's getting late and we're rapidly approaching dinner time. I have to freshen up first. Moth, have you already eaten? There's plenty of food at the food court. Maybe Micah can serve you something more nutritious than popcorn. Oh, that'd be nice. Thanks. All right, Micah, please accompany them to the food court. Micah nods absent-mindedly and is ushering you towards the exit when Isadora calls out to him again. Oh, and Micah. You both turn around and you see that intense gaze directed at you again. Goosebumps prickle down your spine. Dinner will be in 1 hour. Be punctual. Yes. His response is flat, devoid of any emotion. Micah doesn't look too good. This happened earlier, too, didn't it? Yeah, she drains them of their energy. You see Isadora and Lark leave with Aurel in the opposite direction. Something seems wrong. You turn to catch up to Micah, who doesn't seem to notice you, as you two leave the main tent and step back into the night. Wait a second. How did she know about the popcorn? The night is certainly getting weirder and weirder. Sure, it's nice that Isadora and Aurel are looking into the reason you might be stuck here, but something about them is rubbing you the wrong way. Especially... I mean, in truth, it is always Isadora. But let us go down the line. Lark. Lark is a closed-off person, and you respect that. But his outburst earlier raises some questions. Why was he so agitated about Micah? Is it just a difference in perspective and opinion? Looking over to Micah, who is robotically making you something to eat, just by muscle memory, your heart drops. Seeing him so devoid of his usual energy, of his cheery personality, doesn't seem right. And now I will go back and get the other two choices. Alright, something is wrong with Aurel. Aurel seems interested in you and invested in your predicament. And yet, he seems passive. Like he is waiting for permission or a sign or something. Regarding Micah, he's the friendly type, but when Micah gets like this... Alright, now Isadora is the one we think has something wrong with her. which she does, and we know it. Isadora. Isadora really is a moody one. The way her mood changes within the bat of an eye, it almost seems like she's acting. And she's intense, too. You don't really know how to handle her, and when she interacts with Micah, there must be some way to cheer him up. Hey, Micah. He doesn't seem to notice that you've said anything to him, and he continues picking ingredients from the cart. I think we're supposed to wait, but I'm gonna go touch his arm. He doesn't realize you're next to him until you touch his forearm lightly. Suddenly, Micah flinches like he's being electrocuted and jerks away from you. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. Please leave me be for a moment. Maybe he needs some space for his thoughts. You shouldn't intrude and wait until he's ready. He finishes his task behind the counter and comes over to you with a steamy hot dog in a bun. Oh, thanks. That's nice of you. Isadora told me to give you something to eat. Oh, so you didn't really want to give this poor human a hearty meal. Do you have no soul, oh big, bad vampire? Your tone is teasing, and hopefully he'll respond to it in turn. I didn't mean to make you starve. He looks like he's trying to fight a headache. Shaking his head again, Micah blinks. He seems confused. Hey, I'm just teasing you. Oh, sorry, I didn't catch on. Weird. Absolutely weird. Maybe you also need some food, huh? Or your special blood juice to get those engines running again? Micah snorts at your bad attempt to make a joke. Satisfied, you bite into your warm hot dog. It's delicious. I get lethargic too when I'm not eating, so... yeah, maybe I'm just hungry. It's weird, I haven't had these mood swings in quite a while. Mood swings, huh? I suppose, but at the moment it feels more like a cold fog that engulfs my thoughts. I don't like it. How do you get fed anyway? Isadora said dinner will be in a short while, so you just drink blood from someone? Is it better than drinking from those bottles? Dinner is provided by Isadora, and no, we're not drinking from humans or animals directly. She is working with donor centers for our main meals. Those bottles are filled with animal blood. Tastes different and is less nutritious than human blood. Just as he stops talking, as if on cue, his stomach starts rumbling loudly. Here. You hold out the remaining half of your hot dog. Micah looks at you, surprised. Or don't you eat normal food? You ate some popcorn earlier, so I thought you might need some carbs. Carbs are the best. I agree, carbs are the best. Without hesitation, he bites into the hot dog, and his teeth are dangerously close to your fingers holding it. Just the approving expression as he's chewing makes the earlier anxiety fly out the window. This is good. Please don't talk with your mouth full. And you made it yourself. Not that making a hot dog is considered cooking. Hey, it's just quick and easy, especially if you're busy all the time. Is someone speaking from experience? Oh, absolutely. When I'm neck deep in remodeling Faraday, I tend to forget to sustain my body. His admission is kinda cute. You can't help but smile. That's the downside to being a genius, I guess. Genius? Aw, come on. Micah playfully bumps your shoulder with his own and laughs. Wanna do something fun until dinner time? Race you to the Ferris wheel. And without hearing your reply, Micah sprints off. Fortunately, competitiveness is engraved in your DNA. Oh, it is on. Your legs are burning by the time you reach the Ferris wheel. Micah's grinning as you try not to cough your lungs out. Endurance might not be your strong point, but you're fast. You were at an advantage, taking off out of the blue like that. Yeah, that was not totally fair. I apologize. Apology accepted. Goofing around and poking fun, Micah seems back to his usual self. You're relieved. Micah skips over to a control station of the Ferris wheel and tinkers with it. The wheel starts humming with electricity, and the door of the cabin at the ground opens. Did you hijack this ride just now? Nah, I do maintenance on it every week, so I've got permission. Actually, I've got permission to use all rides whenever. The perk of being the fix-it guy, huh? Micah probably rode all of them before until he was tired of them. That's what you would do if you lived as long as he does. Come on. He offers you his hand, and with the blinking lights illuminating his warm smile, he's dazzling. He is. Your heart, still going strong from the sprint, skips a beat. You take his hand with a sure grip and join him in the cabin on the Ferris wheel. The wooden seat you pick opposite Micah is well worn, but still hard. The doors close and the wheel starts turning. Sorry to drag you out here all of a sudden. I wanted to tell you something. You study the thinking crease between his brows. It seems to be important. Do you want to propose? Wait, what? Oh, because of the Ferris wheel and... sorry to burst your dreams. It was a joke, Micah. All right. Maybe my opening line came off more intense than I wanted. I want to apologize for the scene earlier in the tent with Lark. Sometimes we just butt heads over fundamental things. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Even though we've lived together for so long, it's still a rocky relationship. I have a feeling that if Isadora wasn't around, it probably wouldn't be. Don't get me wrong, I love all of them, but... the hand holding yours squeezes a little. You know, my birth family was not really wealthy. My parents were simple farm workers, working the land for the owners, paying loans, working from dawn till dusk, paying for the kids, for food. I was one of those kids. Ungrateful, my father always said. Well, you had to eat whatever Mom cooked, regardless of our own predilections. My older siblings helping out on the farm, my younger siblings raising themselves until they would become farmers. And I just wanted to do something else. You can picture it. Micah collecting spare parts he found, tinkering with them, making scrap work again. Let me guess, your hobby? I'm pretty obvious, yeah? But it was more than wanting to become an engineer. I wanted to be myself, not the version my parents saw in me. He squeezes harder. When you're a kid, it's easy getting away with wearing pants, you know? It isn't once you start to go to school. I got beaten daily by my father, and a while by my older brother. They just didn't understand. Aurel did, though. Aurel, how does he come into play? I met him by pure chance at a bookstore. Picture it, my scrawny teenage self, bruises everywhere, torn clothes, because I had just run away from home. Me, this dirty urchin trying to shoplift a book on mechanical engineering, being approached by a gentleman in fine clothing. He laughs at the nostalgic memory. I probably peed my pants a little. Oh, poor guy. But he didn't rat me out. Instead, he offered to buy me that book. Can you believe it? Somehow I can. Yeah, it fits. Yeah, you're right. And he left an impression on me, you know? Him standing tall, broad shoulders, fine clothing, being able to buy any book you ever want. I really wanted to be like him. Please don't tell him this. I will use this as leverage at a certain point in time. Thank you. He laughs. I will deny everything and plead the fifth. We will see. Really though, I get what you saw in him. Aurel has this air around him, this charm. Indeed, and I'm grateful he took me under his wing. Well, actually, I annoyed the living hell out of him and never left his side. But that's the details. He got me like no one before, and gave me the blessing of eternal life. In exchange for drinking blood on the regular. That's a small price to pay, and you always have to pay something in return for favors. And here at Festimastrosum, under Isadora's protection, we have a stable food supply, a place to stay. We don't have to hide. His smile turns sad, and his reasoning sounds like a reaffirming mantra he has to tell himself to cover up. What? That's true, but are you still happy? Arbrel would probably say something like, happiness is a fleeting concept. Yeah. I don't know if I'm happy. I tend not to dwell on it too much. I am happy now, though. Tonight was fun. Your cabin of the Ferris wheel approaches the top of its rotation. The vast space of the carnival and the unattainable land behind it is glimmering in the dark below. And leaving this place? If we somehow break this weird curse that traps us here, we could leave and find happiness. Maybe. The outside couldn't be so bad if everyone is like you. And I think with you by my side, with you, I'd feel safe. Micah's sad smile evolves, like a cocoon to a butterfly, into a genuine happy smile. Okay, so that I think is the right choice, but I'm gonna go with, sorry, was this too corny? I don't think so. It's really sweet of you to say that. Without hesitation, he turns your hand and supports it with his own. Before you can say anything or crack a joke to break the tension, he lifts your hand and plants a feather-light kiss to your ring finger. The world is still for a long moment, frozen in time. Only you and Micah in this small cabin, on the highest point above the carnival, overseeing a sea of lights. Wait. Is the Ferris wheel not moving? Micah looks through the window and frowns. You're right. It stops at the top, but it should have moved on by now. I don't hear the flow of electricity. Has it broken down? Maybe it was Isadora making us be stuck here. You mean the power's out? Could be, it's hard to tell. The Ferris wheel still isn't moving. You try to stifle the panic rising in your gut. But it's no biggie. I'll just climb down and put it back on. Without further ado, he stands up and the cabin starts swinging lightly. Climb down? You want to climb down this metal contraption and leave me in this cabin? Micah moves to open the emergency hatch on the door and speaks over his shoulder. Do you want to climb along? I mean, if you're up for it, why not? The door opens and cold air sweeps in. Goodness, you are high up. You can't look outside. That's not what I meant. Just don't leave me here, please. Guess we'll have to improvise then. Micah's thought process takes a split second, before he grabs you under your arms and hauls you over his shoulder like you weigh nothing to him. You can't process what's happening and instinctively hold on to him. Okay, little one, hold on tight. Before you can veto Micah's impromptu plan, he grabs the column overhead and swings you two outside the cabin. Someone is screaming in the distance. It might be you. As you try not to let go, Micah's amused laughter mixes with your high-pitched shrieking, and he slides down the Ferris wheel frame like a firefighter on a mission. A spare thought, somehow not occupied with screaming for your life, notices how agile Micah is and how easily he's zipping down the metal beams. The ground is coming closer way faster than you'd like. Micah's feet land safely on the ground and he puts you down with care. Maybe you're still whistling like a teapot, but it could be the shock playing tricks on your ears. Screaming is your hobby, huh? His laughter pulls you out of your panic spiral, and you try to take deep breaths. This is the worst day of my life. It must be. Micah doesn't seem to hear you because he's already over at the main console. No lights are blinking, and you don't need to be a technician to know that the power is out, like he suspected. This is bad. This has never happened before. He tries a few things as you try to calm your shaking hands, but nothing seems to be working. This is really bad. It's not fixable? I'm not sure. I haven't had this specific problem before. The cables are in. Nothing is broken or cut. It must be a problem with the generator itself. I should go take a look at it. There's more things running on that generator than this Ferris wheel. Okay, where to? There's an underground tunnel where the generator is kept. Come with me. You understand how important fixing the generator is, but at this moment, you'd rather sit down and cozy up in a blanket. Everything that has happened today was just a lot. But when Micah takes your hand ever so gently in his to pull you along, you know you can pull through just a bit more. The entrance is an old, mossy door with a long staircase behind it. It looks right out of a castle with big, uneven stones. Micah has procured a flashlight from one of his many pockets to light the way down. As you two descend, the stairs become more slippery from the damp air. Good thing Micah is still holding your hand in his strong grip. It makes you feel safe, and you remember Micah's confession that he feels safe with you. You squeeze his hand. I haven't been in here in ages, and that means something. Never liked coming here. Too spooky. Spooky is underselling it. There is no light source whatsoever. Who built this tunnel? I really have no idea. And the air's so sticky. Ugh, when was the last time anyone was down here? He's right. The air is getting warm and damp, sticky. It's gross on your skin, and you really want to leave as soon as possible. And it smells pretty bad. You identify mold, but there's a sweet undertone. Gross. That's one of the downsides of being the handyman. Sorry to drag you into this. Nah, it's fine. Could be worse, like jumping down from a 200-foot-high Ferris wheel. With your last word, you reach the bottom of the stairs. How far underground are you? Good thing you're not claustrophobic, because the ceiling is pretty low. Good thing this character's not claustrophobic, because I am. Panning the flashlight around, you see a dark tunnel ahead, with stone arches on the walls and the generator. Luckily, it's close to you, so Micah goes right to work. He puts down the flashlight so it illuminates the ceiling in order to free up his hands, keeping close to him and letting him do his magic. You look down the pitch-black tunnel. You really need to leave sooner than later. Also, the smell is giving you a headache. In a split second, as you turn around to Micah again, you see something moving. A flash of gold. Your blood freezes, and the deja vu makes your stomach drop. Were those the same eyes you saw earlier in the maze? Although it feels like eons ago, you know that they are the same eyes. You take a few steps down the tunnel, but not too far from the light source. Before you is a stone arch, like a doorway to a bigger room behind it. The smell, no, the stench is overwhelming. You can't see much, but you don't need to. There is an arm on the ground, right before your feet. Eek! You almost jump away from it, but your eyes are glued to the severed arm laying on the ground before you. Are we in Night in the Woods now? You dare not look further, but you can't help yourself. In the dark, you can only see shadows of a grotesque pile. The metallic smell of blood is thick on your tongue, and your knees are on the verge of giving out. You know, I'm starting to think Isadora does not feed them from some kind of donor. Bodies. Piles and piles of them. Blood drained with the limbs severed away. You try to swallow with a dry throat. This can't be. You take a step back and flinch as you see the same golden eyes down the tunnel again. This time, you... Oh boy, I think this is our final choice. Go and see for yourself. You take your adrenaline-fueled legs down the tunnel until you hear a light chuckle. You're a brave little human. The owner of the golden eyes materializes in front of you. I knew it. You have been watching me this whole time, haven't you? Well, I have to know what's going on, don't I? With you snooping around. She gives you a disapproving look. I don't like you intruding and taking Micah away from me. He's mine, you know. And none of your sweet little promises of a life outside the carnival will change that. Micah can decide on his own what he wants. No, he won't, because he doesn't know what's good for him. All he has to do is keep the carnival running and be happy. Isadora touches your chin with a finger and lifts it. An ice-cold shiver slides down your throat and takes a hold of your heart. And all I have to do is keep him fed. You want to give a witty retort, but your strength has left you, and you feel cold and numb all over. All you can do is glare at Isadora's smiling face, and with great effort you grab her wrist. You are too weak to move away from her. Your senses are failing you. You will make a good meal, little human, just like your useless friend. Wait, so in this ending, Andy is dead? You can hardly hear her anymore. It's like a blanket covering you, and your sight is dimming. Isadora is taking every ounce of energy from you. The last thing you hear breaks your heart. Oh, Micah. Come over here. It's dinner time. That is messed up. Wow, I love that. I do kind of want to see what happens if we stay with him while making all the wrong choices. So give me a sec. Alright. I'm gonna see what happens if we just stay with Micah after making all the wrong decisions. You need to get out. Now. Running back to Micah, you clumsily bump into him. Hey, little one. You okay? You're as white as a sheet. I'm almost done here, just fixing this cable and... A deep electrical hum emerges from the generator and Micah pats away the sweat from his forehead. This should do it. Conflicted, you bite your lip. Should you tell Micah what you found and tear down the illusion that Isadora has conjured? Or is ignorance really bliss, as they say? No. Micah needs to know the truth, that the blood he's drinking isn't donated voluntarily. Micah, I might know where your food supply comes from. What do you mean? There's bodies down the tunnel. Lots of them. The truth hangs between you like a ticking time bomb. You mean that The donor centers are a lie, aren't they? There's terror in his voice and in your heart. You don't know what to say, how to console him. We have to go tell Aurel and Lark. He takes your shaking hand in his. Let's scram. A last look into the tunnel where you saw those golden eyes. They're gone now, but you know that they are still watching. Gladly, you take his hand and try not to look back, but you just know that Isadora has been and still is watching your every step around the carnival. You two make your way over to the main tent as quickly as possible. As you reach the main tent, you see Aurel and Lark talking. They notice you and Micah and mirror your worried faces. By the way, sorry if I sound weird right now. My allergies are acting up really bad. Has something happened? You look terrified, both of you. Understatement of the year, but the words are stuck in your throat. Aurel, even Micah doesn't know how to put what you've just seen and realized into words. Take a deep breath, Micah. In your absence, I've revisited the pact we made years ago, and it might be a clue to what happened to Moth. He flips open a notebook and skims the text for the right passage. All right, when Isadora and I made the pact, we bound it in Latin. Omnis manere infesto estroso debent, ad hoc tres avent simul relinquere. My Latin is rusty. Give me a moment and I'll translate. You give Aurel time to translate the pact and look over to Micah to see how he is doing. He notices you and gives you a reassuring smile. And what do you think you are doing? Her voice is like cold steel, cutting through the agitated conversation. Micah goes rigid beside you, and Aurel stops breathing for a second. Lark flinches visibly, ducking his head. Conspiring or just talking? Aurel, tell me. Aurel composes himself pretty quickly and stands straight, maybe to brace himself for what's coming. We are not conspiring against you, Isadora. All we were doing was talking about the pact we once made, so we can help Moth. Isadora's face shows clear as day that she doesn't buy his deflection. And apparently, you have found something. Something helpful. We revisited the pact and it says that all must remain at Festa Mistrosum until 3 simultaneously desire to leave. So, you are conspiring against me. A condescending tone, a neutral, unaffected face, the other side of her coin of emotions. Micah steps up and holds out his hand. palms open as if he's talking down a dangerous creature. No, we are not. Please listen, Isadora. She bares her fangs, snarling at Micah. I can't believe this. I can't accept this. Her roar makes you flinch. Cryptid did not roar for her, but that's okay. You ungrateful imbeciles. You want to leave this place? You want to leave me? She takes a step towards Micah. You can't. I give you everything you need to live your life to the fullest. I'm giving you a family. I'm giving you a job, a purpose. Another step. Micah drops his hands. That's true, but Isadora doesn't listen and takes another step. I feed you and give you a home. And just because someone new shows up and promises you the stars, you want to throw all of this away. Her voice is dangerously low as she steps right into Micah's personal space. I give you happiness. The tension between them raises your hackles, and you feel the urge to intervene. And at what cost? Her head whips around to face you, a jagged mask of ire. So you can feed off of them forever? Moth, you think you're oh so smart, don't you? Ire is switched for another manic smile, like mixing a deck of cards and picking a new one. Isadora, please. Shut up. Micah closes his mouth so fast, his teeth clack loudly in the silence. So you think you have it all figured out, Don't play games, Isadora. I know you're using these 3 to feed yourself. You don't need to drink blood, do you? Every time you do this thing to Micah, you drain him of his happiness, his energy. In answer, Isadora giggles. That's right, but aren't I allowed to? I provide food for him and the others after all. It's a give and take. Don't tell me this has changed after all these years. By luring carnival guests in and killing them? That's disgusting. Arul flinches at the truth, gasping. Lark's horrified gaze tells you he didn't know the truth either. You might think so, as you are human. But humans are nothing more than livestock. Livestock with free will, yes, but there are so many of them. Nobody will miss any of these humans. Of course they will be missed. They might have had family, friends. Like you do, I suppose. Her grin resembles a grotesque cut. Good that you are one friend less, then. And your family won't miss you. Before any of these words can sink in and utterly destroy you, Micah moves to stand in front of you. His broad back shelters you from Isadora and her admission. She killed and drained Andy in cold blood. Well, according to the other endings, she didn't. So that must be a lie, right? Don't you dare hurt them, or I will take you on. Micah doesn't wait for Isadora's reply and turns around to you, taking you by your shoulders. Are you all right, little one? We have to go. This place can't be my home anymore. Looking over to Aurel and Lark, Micah fights to retain his composure, a plea in his eyes towards the others, the closest thing he has to family. Aurel's eyes are stormy, trying to keep it together, and nods. Lark, please. There's no time for Lark to answer as Isadora stomps her foot, and the ground starts shaking. You don't get to take my pet away. Don't you dare, Micah. And Moth will stay. Over Micah's shoulder, you see her launching at you and act on instinct. You grab Micah's hand and start to run. We have to go now. You're running again, with fear powering your legs and making your heart beat faster. Micah's hand in yours. Hopefully, Aurel and Lark are right behind you, but you have no time to look back. Your rushed escape ends abruptly in front of the entrance gate. As before, your feet won't budge another inch. Stupid curse. Oh no. Aurel! Lark! We have to leave this place. Yes, we do, but as the pact says, we will remain until all three of us desire to leave. The three of you turn around to Lark, who has followed you, surprisingly. He looks conflicted, licking his lips. All three of us, Lark. We have to want this together. I know, but you won't leave me, my beloved Lark. Of course she's caught up and didn't even break a sweat. Her saccharine voice is getting on your nerves. I give you everything you need. And Micah, you are happy here, repairing facilities, having time to be creative. No. Before you can stop her, she touches Micah's arm, and in slow motion you see Micah's face crumble like a dune under the sea. It breaks your heart. No! You push Isadora away with a rough shove, turn towards Micah, and try to make him snap out of it. Micah sways where he stands, eyes hollow and devoid of any emotion. Micah? Micah! Please, say something. This time, he doesn't even respond to you. He just stands there like a lifeless puppet. negative emotions are just not the same as positive ones. They still suffice, though. With tears welling up in your eyes, you turn to Isadora. When will you stop this? When will you have enough? Is that a rhetorical question? It must be. She taps a finger against her cheek and turns to Lark. His eyes tell you that Isadora has drained him as well. Come now, pet. This was enough trouble for one evening. Yes, Isadora. Oh, and Aurel. I hope you will get your act together and remember your place. Her tone leaves no room for arguments. Within seconds, she has all three of them wrapped around her finger, just like before. The sight of them ignites a flame of despair in your heart, but you can't fight anymore. You have run, screamed, and fought from the second you entered the damned mirror maze. It's enough now. Hopelessness is spreading like poison in your gut. Isadora has won. Isadora's piercing eyes, the same eyes that have watched your every step on these carnival grounds, lay upon you for the last time. Moth, why don't you come here? If you say you're sorry, you might be forgiven. It all starts with an outstretched hand. With a smile that could fool you, she offers you her hand. I will give you everything you need. A family, food, happiness. And you take her hand in yours forever. So there were two bad endings on this route. It says that there's only one bonus bad ending, so I assume that we got that. Well, whatever. Let's go get the good ending. Alright, first and foremost, obviously, I'm going to get the extra choices as well. So he's kind of teasing us over saying we had been in the mirror maze, but now we're halfway across the carnival. We went with ha the first time, so forget about it. You think? Okay, I trust you. You sigh. Now Micah thinks you're an oddball. Could be worse, though. But you have a feeling that there is something more to it. How could you have made it halfway across the carnival? Were you running that fast, without seeing where you were going? Moth, you're really pale. Come on, we'll warm you up. I'm gonna skip ahead. Okay, so we are gonna be a little more teasing this time and say thank you, my magnanimous hero. You even bow to show your gratitude in jest. You may rise. The buttery popcorn crunching between your teeth melts away your anxiety somewhat. Alright, so now we're guessing when back in his day was. And we're gonna say, I do? Come now, little one. You probably learned in history class that there was a time when child labor was not frowned upon. His tone is playfully disappointed, but his mouth is trying to fight an amused smile. Taking a big sip of his drink, He theatrically sighs afterwards, like he's a thirsty man in the desert, finally getting relief. It's not syrup. The teeth. The syrupy drink that is very possibly blood. No body heat. Are you a vampire? Silence. Micah doesn't say anything, but his amused smile quivers. Ding, ding, ding. All right. So last time we went with cool. This time we'll say, that's a lot to take in. Did I blow your mind? Ha ha. Without further ado, Micah snags a popcorn from your half-empty bag. Now he's telling us about Faraday. So we're going to say, ooh, tell me more, which this does pertain to the ending. Micah's eyes start to light up. Be warned, I won't stop if you're willing to listen. Come on, just tell me about it. Okay. I'm working on an autonomous pet, a dog to be precise. His hands are moving, almost talking along. It's been a work in progress for many years now. Faraday's prototype is built with spare parts and scrap, but she's beautiful. The tricky part is to make her move on her own. I got my hands on portable batteries, but don't you have a computer? All right, we're gonna skip ahead. Okay, Micah told us he doesn't want to go outside, and now he's kind of thinking about the answer. So we are gonna wait for him to speak. He licks his teeth, and you realize he's anxious about something. This is my home now, and after so many years living with the others, living the carnival life, I don't know if I can face the outside world. He turns to you, his eyes unsure. Does that make sense? It feels like I won't belong with your kind. My kind? You mean humans? Yeah, humans who have built a modern, fast-paced world. Alright, we're gonna skip ahead. Okay, so this one doesn't matter, but we said haha, you're a geek before. So now, no, talk nerdy to me, please. Oh, so that's what you're into, huh? I'm not smart like Arvel, though, and I'm hardly a scholar. All I do is fix some machines and light bulbs around here. And you casually build a robot dog. Who knows what else you can build? The sky's the limit. All right, we're gonna keep going. So in a minute here, we're gonna talk to Arvel, and we're gonna be like, turn me into a vampire, please. All right, Micah returns from changing the light bulb. So, Moth. His leering face is exaggerated by his wagging eyebrows. Did you ask Arvel about being turned into a vampire? Since he turned me, maybe you have a shot too. You know he's ribbing, but... Please make me into a vampire. Excuse me. Aghast is a light word for the look on Arvel's face. This isn't something to be joked about. Despite Arvel's apparent horror, you can't help but juggle the idea around your mind. Oh, you know, the whole vampirism thing is pretty big in the media right now, and it seems hot, I guess. Micah cackles in the background while Arvel flounders for his words. Okay, maybe we should drop this for now. Look, Isadora and Lark are done with their routine training. Alright, now we're gonna skip ahead. Instead of saying, oh, this and that, to responding to what we know, well, I know that you're all vampires. She hums in thought and nods. It's not something we broadcast, but it's a shared fate, I'd say. Alright, let's skip ahead to when Micah is making us the hot dog. Looking over to Micah, who is robotically making you something to eat, just by muscle memory, your heart drops. Seeing him so devoid of his usual energy, of his cheery personality, doesn't seem right. There must be some way to cheer him up. Hey, Micah? He doesn't seem to notice that you've said anything to him, and continues picking ingredients from the cart. Alright, we are going to wait until he is done prepping food so he can think. Maybe he needs some space for his thoughts. You shouldn't intrude and wait until he's ready. He finishes his task behind the counter and comes over to you with a steamy hot dog in a bun. Oh, thanks. That's nice of you. Isadora told me to give you something to eat. Okay, so now we're gonna tease him, but we're gonna keep skipping ahead to the next choice. Alright, now we're gonna be in the Ferris wheel, and I will choose the other choice when he's talking to us. I'm gonna say, I'm all ears. Thanks, sorry. That came off more grim than I wanted, because he's making his little confession to us. I want to apologize for the scene earlier in the tent with Lark. Sometimes we just butt heads over fundamental things. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Alright, we're gonna skip ahead. And with all the talking and the sweet things that we've said, we're gonna say this smile really suits you. This is the correct choice. Even in the dark, you notice a blush creep into Micah's cheeks. Thank you. I haven't felt like this before, you know. And I kind of don't know what to say to that. Without hesitation, he turns your hand and supports it with his own. And he gives our hand a kiss. And now the Ferris wheel is not moving, so we'll skip ahead to the next choice, and that should lead us to the good ending. Alright, we are in the tunnel, and now we see a flash of gold. Your blood freezes and the deja vu makes your stomach drop. Were those the same eyes you saw earlier in the maze? Although it feels like eons ago, you know that they are the same eyes. You take a few steps down the tunnel, but not too far from the light source. Before you is a stone arch like a doorway to a bigger room behind it. The smell, no, the stench is overwhelming. You can't see much. But you don't need to. There is an arm on the ground right before your feet. Eek! You almost jump away from it, but your eyes are glued to the severed arm laying on the ground before you. You dare not look further, but you can't help yourself. In the dark, you can only see shadows of a grotesque pile. The metallic smell of blood is thick on your tongue, and your knees are on the verge of giving out. Bodies, piles and piles of them, blood drained with the limbs severed away. You try to swallow with a dry throat. This can't be. Alright, so well, obviously we're gonna stay with Micah. That will lead us to the good ending. Stay with Micah. You need to get out. Now. Running back to Micah, you clumsily bump into him. Hey, little one. You okay? You're as white as a sheet. I'm almost done here. Just fixing this cable and... A deep electrical hum emerges from the generator and Micah pats away the sweat from his forehead. This should do it. Conflicted, you bite your lip. Should you tell Micah what you found and tear down the illusion that Isadora has conjured? Or is ignorance really bliss, as they say? No, Micah needs to know the truth, that the blood he's drinking isn't donated voluntarily. Micah, I might know where your food supply comes from. What do you mean? There's bodies down the tunnel. Lots of them. The truth hangs between you like a ticking time bomb. You mean that the donor centers are a lie, aren't they? There's terror in his voice and in your heart. You don't know what to say, how to console him. We have to go tell Aurel and Lark. He takes your shaking hand in his. Let's scram. You two make your way over to the main tent as quickly as possible. As you reach the main tent, you see Aurel and Lark talking. They notice you and Micah and mirror your worried faces. Has something happened? You look terrified, both of you. Understatement of the year, but the words are stuck in your throat. You give Aurel time to translate the pact and look over to Micah to see how he is doing. He notices you and gives you a reassuring smile. And what do you think you are doing? Her voice is like cold steel, cutting through the agitated conversation. Micah goes rigid beside you and Aurel stops breathing for a second. Lark flinches visibly, ducking his head. Conspiring or just talking? Aurel, tell me. No, we are not. Please listen, Isadora. She bares her fangs, snarling at Micah. I can't believe this. I can't accept this. Her roar makes you flinch. You want to leave this place. You want to leave me. She takes a step towards Micah. Another step. Micah drops his hands. Isadora doesn't listen and takes another step. I feed you and give you a home. And just because someone new shows up and promises you the stars, you want to throw all of this away. Her voice is dangerously low as she steps right into Micah's personal space. I give you happiness. The tension between them raises your hackles and you feel the urge to intervene. And at what cost? Her head whips around to face you, a jagged mask of ire. So you can feed off them forever? Moth. You think you're oh so smart, don't you? Don't play games, Isadora. I know you're using these 3 to feed yourself. You don't need to drink blood, do you? Every time you do this thing to Micah, you drain him of his happiness, his energy. In answer, Isadora giggles. I provide food for him and the others. After all, it's give and take. Don't tell me this has changed after all these years. By luring carnival guests in and killing them? That's disgusting. Arvel flinches at the truth, gasping. Lark's horrified gaze tells you he didn't know the truth either. Micah moves to stand in front of you. His broad back shelters you from Isadora and her admission. She killed and drained Andy in cold blood. Don't you dare hurt them, or I will take you on. Micah doesn't wait for Isadora's reply and turns around, taking you by your shoulders. Are you all right, little one? We have to go. This place can't be my home anymore. Over Micah's shoulder, you see her launching at you and act on instinct. You grab Micah's hand and start to run. We have to go now. Hopefully Aurel and Lark are right behind you, but you have no time to look back. Your rushed escape ends abruptly in front of the entrance gate. As before, your feet won't budge another inch. Stupid curse. Oh no. Aurel, Lark, we have to leave this place. We will remain until all 3 of us desire to leave, and we look at Lark. He looks conflicted, licking his lips. All 3 of us, Lark, we have to want this together. I know, but you won't leave me, my beloved Lark. Of course she's caught up and didn't even break a sweat. Her saccharine voice is getting on your nerves. I give you everything you need. And Micah, you are happy here. Alright, she touches Micah. It breaks your heart. No! You push Isadora away with a rough shove and turn towards Micah and try to make him snap out of it. Micah, please look at me. You take him by his hands and rub a thumb over it soothingly. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Lark, shock streaking his face. Micah! Micah groans, squeezing his eyes shut. You know he's fighting and all you can do is be there for him. Negative emotions are just not the same as positive ones. They still suffice, though. With tears welling up in your eyes, you turn to Isadora. When will you stop this? When will you have enough? Is that a rhetorical question? It must be. Isadora, what have you done? Another dumb rhetorical question, this time from you. You drained way too much. You drain him way more often than Aurel or me, but this time, Micah won't. You don't quite understand what Lark is getting at, but filling in the gaps, it doesn't look good. Isadora has drained Micah more often than the others, probably because of his sunny character. But what about repercussions? Psh, he'll live. He always does. And I can do whatever, whenever I want to him, to any of you. The finality of her words seemed to change something within Lark. He growls. No, you can't. What? Micah slowly blinks and seems to gain back his senses. You give him an encouraging smile. Lark is right. You can't do whatever you want with us. If we three want to leave from the bottom of our hearts, we will. He turns on his heel and lifts his cane to press the button next to the gate. The old gate opens slowly with a groaning iron sound. And you really want this? From the bottom of your hearts? Don't make me laugh. Still creaking, the gate continues to open, and Isadora hisses. Just because this human came along, you want to throw away everything we've built together. Without deeming her worthy of an answer, Avril turns around and steps over the barrier like it never existed. Farewell. With wide, panicked eyes, Isadora is speechless for a moment. She never expected this to happen. This is ridiculous. This is not how it's supposed to be. How can you leave me like this? Because you are cruel, Isadora. But I love you, Lark. We've always been together. I've always done what's best for you. But her pleas fall on deaf ears. Lark still looks shaken. He looks over to Micah. A tentative smile settles on his face when he sees that his brother seems to be getting better. A resolute strength shines through as he speaks. You have always done what's best for you, Isadora. Goodbye. Lark turns around and passes the threshold to join Avril. Micah watches the scene with bewilderment. You guess he never would have thought it possible to leave. You look at each other and there's understanding and unwavering trust. You're back. I'm glad. I guess. Still got a headache, though. Do you want to go after them? Only if you come with and hold my hand. No, you can't go, Micah. What about everything you'll leave behind? What about your pet project? I'm leaving Faraday behind with a teary eye, but I'll go forward and gain something else. No, please don't leave me too. You know that I will, because you just used me for your own gain, and you never will again. He takes your hand and grins. You ready? Whenever you are. Both of you start sprinting towards the gate. No hesitation or what-ifs holding you back. As you pass the barrier, you can see the morning sun painting the sky in beautiful pastel colors and a beautiful turquoise, just like Micah's eyes. Hey guys, we made it! Micah's cheerful announcement overshadows Isadora's painful scream. You turn around, looking back to the carnival, and see a cloud of dust falling to the ground. You feel no remorse, just relief and sadness. You think of your best friend who you will never see again. Hey, Moth, you okay? You're crying. And yes, there may be tears sneaking up on you and rolling down your cheeks, but you smile at him. I'm okay. It was just a long night. Andy is dead in this? I thought she was lying. The day is a sunny one, and a light breeze is playing with your hair. You take a deep breath and think back to a year ago, when your life had changed. It's kinda spooky how the flow of time makes those memories less hurtful, less intense. It's not rose-colored glasses. The loss of Andy and the existential fear have left invisible scars. But life just continued on. Hey, Micah! You stroll over to Micah, who is holding a stick to throw for his canine companion. Faraday is waiting in anticipation, or an order, since she can't exactly feel anticipation like a real dog. But this new, updated model of Faraday can even move on her own and execute different orders. Oh, hey, Moth. Faraday, say hi. Faraday barks. It's a sound file you two have chosen for her from the internet, and it sounds pretty realistic. And Micah couldn't look any more like a proud dad. He is kind of a perfectionist when it comes to programming and refining Faraday. Hi, Farah. So, how's it going? She executes all of her programmed orders perfectly. Because she's a good girl, right? Aren't you a good girl? Cooing over her, he pets her, although it's not really necessary. But it doesn't matter if it's necessary. He treats her like a real dog. Faraday wags her tail and barks at him. Okay, here you go. He stands up, throws the stick, and Faraday leaps after it. No difference from a real dog. Well, maybe less panting, and no poop. Probably also not much smell. You two stand side by side, watching her retrieve the stick. You did a fantastic job with her. Thanks. You may call me the dog father from now on. God, what a dork. Oh my god, was that a pop culture reference? I'm so proud. My little Micah has grown up so much. But please don't let Faraday join the mafia. Micah laughs and takes the stick from Faraday, only to throw it again. You two stand so close your shoulders touch. I'm still catching up on a lot. Avril wants me to watch this show with him. I think it was called Drag. You mean a drag show? Yeah, that's it. We're gonna meet up tonight. Wanna come with? Sure thing. Should we get some blood bags from the donor center tonight beforehand? Yeah, let's. And I need to put Faraday on her charger. This rechargeable battery isn't the best. I'll have to look for a new one. Faraday comes back to you and her pace is slower than before. She uses up a lot of energy, but Micah hasn't found a way to reduce her output yet. The afternoon sun warms your back and lets her copper coat shine. Wait a second, it gives you an idea. You turn your head and put on your best Italian accent. I'm sorry to any Italians possibly watching, but I guess I'm gonna do this. How about I make you an offer you cannot refuse? Probably sounded terrible, probably more Romanian than Italian, but who knows? Micah picks up on the joke and grins at you. His teeth are not something he has to hide from you. Care to enlighten me? Have you heard of solar power? Cute. Well, I guess I'm gonna leave this here. I enjoyed that. That was cute. I have different things about the different routes that I really like. I feel like in some ways we got some more general lore in this one, but some of the emotional aspects of both Aurel's and Lark's routes are a bit deeper for me. To choose a favorite, I don't know. I liked all of the endings. I actually was very fond of the extra bad ending in this. I would say that Lark's was most satisfying when leaving Isadora, but Aurel's ending specifically was actually probably my favorite. This one made me feel it had a bittersweet feel to it because of losing Andy. I had thought Isadora was lying, but she wasn't. So there is that. But I enjoyed all of the routes a lot. These characters are very likable and very cute, and I would romance all of them if I could. But if you made it this far, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did like it, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more of me but you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. I upload videos. Right now it's twice a week, but it will be back to Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at some point. I also stream on Twitch and also on YouTube. At the moment it is sporadic. Just follow me in those places. Follow me on social media. And I even have a Discord where you can get notifications if you want. It should be linked down below. And I hope to see you all next time. Bye.